Afternoon, folks. How is everyone doing today? I hope you are doing well. Happy Friday, my friends. It's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. Scusi. This week is over and the debates were last night. You, my friends, deserve a cocktail or a cold one. Anybody asks, you just tell them Beer and Gear said so. And I'm sure there's a third world country on this planet where I would be considered a doctor, so consider it doctor's orders. And because I live in a country full of lawyers, I am by no way telling anybody to indulge in any kind of substances that are unhealthy or bad for them. Okay? And I think that should work in case somebody decides to sue me for being humorous. I thought we would do some headlines. We haven't done them in a while. And Clown World has just been too good of late not to. And there are some excellent ones out there. This, literally my favorite. Literally my favorite. We're going to start off with this one. Man hurls flaming spear into police car in Portland. It has devolved to the point. Is he Antifa? I don't know. They don't tell me. I am willing to assume he is. Because who the hell else would be carrying around a flaming spear in the streets? Cop pulls up, gets on the loudspeaker and says, Portland police, drop the spear and put your hands up. And the guy's like, fuck you! And from there it only gets worse. The cop winds up in the hospital with burns, and he threw a couple of rounds downrange at the shithead who threw it through the window of his police car, but he missed him because he just got hit with a flaming spear. I would imagine that's probably acceptable. Of course, you'll understand that while I don't ever call for the needless taking of someone's life, I do believe that there are certain instances where taxpayer relief shots are definitely preferable to having to pay 35, 40 grand a year to keep some shitbag locked up in a fucking cage. Just me. Report, Socialist Bernie Sanders is eyeing a labor secretary position with Joe Biden, the bum who didn't earn his first steady paycheck till he was 40. Yep, that guy. Labor secretary. Bernie, we don't spell labor with a U here. That's England in their parliament. And so if the Labour Party in the UK, as I understand it, is pretty heavy socialist, so maybe Bernie's on the wrong side of the pond. Can we get a, you know what? Fuck that. Make him sell one of his mansions or his $160,000 sports car and pay for his own ticket to go to fucking England, and then he can stay there. One way. Although he's probably at this point got the pocket change for it. He's also the same shitbag that got thrown out of a commune because he was too lazy to do the work. I remember hearing that story too. People keep electing him because people are morons. Just another reason not to vote for Biden. Did you see that idiot in charge of the Department of fucking Labor? Millionaires and billionaires. Too good. Too good. I think we shall save this for a separate video because nobody can be that dumb. Oh, but this kid is that dumb. Chinese reporters shocked after Hunter Biden went to Beijing, secretly met with Chinese Communist Party spy, and asked for mansion and women. Obviously, Hunter is a fool because everybody knows it's boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. Ugh. A report out of Asia claims that Hunter Biden met with a CCP spy in Beijing and asked for millions for a house and for women. gnews.org, I have no idea what the hell that is, reports that Hunter engaged in illicit actions in Beijing with the CCP. Well, we knew that. He got a 2.8 carat diamond out of it worth upwards of 80K. Reporters in Asia discussed recent attacks on Rudy and Hunter Biden's actions in Beijing. In regards to Rudy, the reporters shared that the accusations against Rudy Giuliani were not true. Giuliani acted appropriately in front of a so-called 15-year-old girl, not inappropriately. We'll sidetrack here. I like Borat. I thought Borat was fucking hysterical. And it honestly was. Just a really dumb movie that was funny as hell. Because I have a sense of humor and I can look at things and say, that is so stupid it's hysterical. Although we now live in 2020 where you can't be sure that anything isn't a joke anymore because we've moved the meter that far over. As I understand it, because I didn't bother to watch it because I thought it was asinine and stupid, a very attractive blonde female comes up to Rudy and says she's a reporter and she wants to ask him questions. And she wants to ask him questions in her room. Now, I believe it's safe to assume if somebody comes up and identifies themselves as a journalist, they're not 15 years old because outside of a school newspaper, there are no 15-year-old journalists, and I don't think schools have newspapers anymore. Just saying. So, of course, Rudy, he's not married, been divorced a couple of times. It's like, fuck, she's hot. She's like 25 years old. Of course I'm going to bang her. The clip they show is Rudy tucking his shirt in after pulling out his microphone. That's Rudy's story. I don't know. I don't actually care. Rudy did nothing wrong. She is of age. Sacha Baron Cohen kicking in the door and goes, "Stop, she is only 15. She is too old for you." Okay. That's like a gotcha sting kind of moment. I don't understand how the joke works. I'm sure it does in the movie. Hunter, on the other hand, when he goes to China and says, "I need a mansion and some bitches," I'm pretty sure that plays exactly as "I need a mansion and some bitches." Now, it's alleged because I have no idea who gnews.org is, but it is what it is. Okay, Uncle Creepy flees from the podium after Delaware's speech without taking questions, drops his face mask on the ground. I thought he was the environment president. I thought we had to end fracking and oil and go back to climate accords from Paris. And he just throws his mask on the floor and fucking walks off. The fucking litter bug. Another reason not to vote for the piece of shit. I have people who will pick that up. Yeah, doesn't make any less of a piece of shit. Joe Biden on Friday delivered remarks on the coronavirus from Wilmington, Delaware. Well, Joe, if you wore a mask and it's coronavirus you're worried about, your mask is now contaminated and you're leaving it on the floor for someone else to be exposed. Oops. 77-year-old Biden said, "I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country," despite the fact that I'm positive I heard him say last week, 90-day mandatory lockdown. It's bizarro world. The bizarre part is people fucking believe this moron. Today, Biden said his administration would do the following to stop the spread of COVID. Universal masking, available testing, enough PPE, scientific guidelines for opening, safe and effective treatments and vaccine. Now, where have I heard all that before? And who's doing it now? Incidentally, the reason we don't have any PPE is Uncle Creepy and O'Shitstain depleted the national reserves and then never authorized the money to build them back up again. Yeah. It is what it is. The Biden plan laid out today is literally what President Trump is already doing to combat the coronavirus, save for universal masking. And there you go. Man, I watched that debate last night. I'm telling you, they must have had him pumped full of dopamine or something, because you can watch as it wears off towards the end. I know a lot of people watch 15 minutes and bail, but I'm a glutton for punishment. You could see when he got tired because his stutter came on and the twitch came on, and you could tell when whatever they gave him was wearing off. If he'd done another 15 or 30 minutes, he'd either collapsed on stage, or his verbal abilities would have just completely disappeared. They're panicking. Kamala Harris responds to questions on Biden's vow to shut down U.S. oil industry. Joe Biden is not going to ban fracking. Pretty sure Joe Biden said exactly last night he wants to get rid of the oil industry. We'll phase it out. We're going to phase it out. Also, Joe, I don't know if anybody bothered to tell you this, but you know that all that plexiglass you want to put in, which Trump is right, it's expensive. It's made out of, right? Yeah, that's all oil derived. But I believe Joe Biden, the Democrats in general, look at their subjects as you people. And that's why they feel free to say bullshit like this. They think they can get away with it. And they can. Cuomo goes after the Hasidic Jews in New York. He wants to shut down all the temples and shit. Who elected him? The Jews. That's what New York was loaded with, was liberal Democrat Jews. I know, I grew up there. The kick in the pants for Cuomo this morning? The Muslims are siding with the Jews against his lockdown of the synagogues. Not only did he lose the Jews, he lost the fucking Muzzies too. These people are fucking morons, but what's worse is they think you're a fucking moron. You do whatever makes you happy. The fuck do I care? Just stay away from me. Don't fuck with my life. Don't fuck with my people. Don't fuck with my shit. We're all good. Hell, I can even be a nice neighbor as long as you respect boundaries and fences. New Jersey mayor opens food boxes, removes and replaces Trump letter with his own. So we've heard Nancy Pelosi refuses to consider any check going out before the election with Donald Trump's name on it, because it would have Donald Trump's name on it. Donald Trump would be signing the checks. Hold on just a second. Let me clear my sinuses out. Alrighty, so we were in the middle of talking about New Jersey mayor opens food boxes to replace Trump's letter with his own, because that's also the reason Nancy Pelosi does not want any checks to go out, because they'll have Donald Trump's name on them. Last time I checked, when I got a tax refund from the government, which was years ago, because I have my own company, which then promptly got stumped on by all this corona bullshit. Any check I got back from the IRS was signed by Secretary of the Treasury. So I don't know why Trump's name would be on those, but I think people would like to receive a piece of paper with Donald Trump's EKG scribble, which is like, basically looks like somebody's having a massive coronary because it's all spikes. New Jersey Mayor Derek Armstead was caught opening government food boxes to the poor and removing the letters from President Trump and replacing them with his own. The Democrat mayor wants his constituents to believe they came from his office. Remove him from office right now. He's just committed fraud. He has just literally taken something that was meant to better people's situations, repackaged it to make himself look better. Fraud. Violation of his oath. Now, am I saying he should be hung? He's a black fellow. If you tried to hang him, then we'd start that whole, lynching. Treason is treason, traitors are traitors, folks. And understand that concept. It doesn't mean you can't tar and feather his ass, drive him out of town on a rail. Ride him out on a rail. This is dishonest and unsanitary, but he's a Democrat. There you go. Now, if he had literally taken a separate letter and stuck it in there with the president's letter, it wouldn't be an issue. Who's going to give a fuck? No. And this isn't going to break anywhere because nobody really gives a shit. Friggin' Linden, New Jersey. I know where Linden, New Jersey is. I've been there. Most people have no clue. It is what it is. The fact that he thinks he can get away with that bullshit, that's something else entirely. Excuse me. Unexploded bomb from World War II washes up on North Carolina shore. That's a little fucking frightening. An unexploded bomb from World War II washed up in North Carolina, and it's on the beach. A 100-pound unexploded bomb from World War II era has washed up on a North Carolina shore, prompting authorities to establish a safety perimeter ahead of planned detonation. I don't know if it's primed or not. I have no idea. U.S. Navy officials said the large rusty bomb was found Thursday morning in Buxton on Cape Hatteras, where members of the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit, EOD, guy I worked with, Tom, he was the night guy out at the hospital. Fucking solid guy. Finally retired. He had a couple of years on me. His kid was Marine EOD and he died. That was fucking brutal, man. Good guy, but man, that's a crazy fucking job. The U.S. Navy EOD unit placed the bomb deep inside the beach near the lighthouse beach access parking area. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to throw a blanket over it and detonate it. I have no idea. Damage to nearby structures is unlikely from the expected blast, but Buxton residents and visitors may hear the detonation. 70 years it's been sitting in the ocean and it's rusted out. I find it hard to believe that any kind of explosive material in there is still viable. What the hell do I know? Oh, here we go. John Roberts sides with liberal justices. Now, there is a fucking shocker. That should make your EKG look like Donald Trump's signature. Allows Pennsylvania to count non-postmarked ballots 3 days after the election. I don't understand. I do understand, but no one else understands, would be my spin on this. Supreme Court Justice John Roberts joined with 3 liberal justices on the court to allow Pennsylvania to count non-postmarked ballots 3 days after the election. This is an invitation to election fraud. No shit, Sherlock. America is the only country in the world with such lax election laws. Democrats want it that way. Republicans are too afraid to speak out. Wrong. Wrong. There are Republicans that speak out against this. You get guys like Rand Paul that speak out about this all the time. The problem is Rand Paul is an outlier. He's not uniparty. Uniparty is the problem. Okay? Lifelong elected officials. These people get in, they can't get out. This is just another reason for term limits, but here's the biggest takeaway on this. The 4-4 SCOTUS split leaves the Pennsylvania Supreme Court alteration of election law in place. Another example of how important Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation is. That's the kicker. If she's not in before the election happens, and we've covered this before, I did a whole video on this like a month and a half ago. My reading was flood the country with ballots. Now, that was a month and a half ago. Now, when you look at how huge the enthusiasm gap is, I don't believe they even think they can get Biden elected the way they got Kirsten Sinema elected out here, which is to just show up with trunks full of, oh, look what we found ballots. And so my original read on this was what they're going to do is they're going to flood the electorate so that we wind up with like 130% of votes cast. So I'm just saying, about a third over the total population number of viable voters, add an extra third on top, and you spur the need for the election to be invalidated. Then, since there's no clear winner, you go to the 12th Amendment. And the 12th Amendment reads like this: each state gets one en banc vote. So every state casts one vote. This is in the House. Trump needs 26. Simple majority. When Trump whooped Hillary's ass, he had 35 out of 50. Should be a slam dunk. Democrats know this. And now with what's going on now, it's even worse. Remember, there are congressional and Senate seats up. They don't take until January. The Democrats fight that and say we need to take this to the Supreme Court. And you get another 4-4 split like this. Amy Coney Barrett needs to be installed before it happens. And that's why the Democrats are fucking shitting in their pants, doing everything they can. They held a vote yesterday, and no Democrats showed up because they don't want to. They know they can't win in the Senate anyway. He's got this. So get it done, folks. Get that shit done and over with. 21:30. Biden supporter arrested for firing shotgun at 2 Trump supporters who honked at him while driving by his property. I am fucking impressed. He's a Biden supporter and he didn't shoot himself in the foot yet again. And you know how you can tell it's not a Trump supporter? A, he negligently fired his weapons. B, he missed his intended target. I'm joking, of course. You should not be shooting at people unless your life is in danger. The deposition of Jeffrey Epstein's alleged madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, unsealed today. Male perpetrators' names redacted. Underage female victims' names not redacted. 2 stories back, what did we do? John Roberts sides with the Democrats. Well, apparently there's and you won't find out here because it's been redacted, but there's a fella named John Roberts on the manifest on the Lolita Express going to Pedo Fantasy Island. Gee, I wonder why he sides with the left so often. Incidentally, if it turns out that he has been corrupted and turned, take him back, shoot him. Traitor.
This is it. The next couple years, the next couple months will go a long way to telling the tale. If you do what I believe you will, your country will owe you, Europe will owe you, and we will owe you. Because the cumulative impact of Ukraine, economically secure and sound, will have a profound impact. The ambassadors heard me say many times when I pushed for these loan guarantees, it's a matter of pay me now or pay me later. A matter of pay me now or pay me later. So folks, all of you in this room, the business will lead to this country, have an opportunity, which is the only basis on which you should make a decision, to benefit your shareholders because of real opportunity.
You thought fire the prosecutor was a shakedown. Watch this. Now, this is from Michael Rosie O'Donnell Moore. Since I'm pretty sure you never see the two of them together, they got to be the same person. It's like Superman and Clark Kent. July 2015, Joe Biden is still the vice president, by the way. Speaking directly to then Ukrainian Prime Minister Yatsenyuk in front of a room of businessmen and government officials. Pay me now, pay me later. You want $1 billion? Well, you fire the prosecutor, and if you don't believe me, call Barack. It's loosely translated, but about how I remember it. People are out of their minds. Wow, top Democrat Schumer and Wyden call on FBI not to investigate the Biden crime family before the election. It could undermine the rule of law. What rule of law are we undermining when the FBI is supposed to? And now, I'm one of the people who believes it's time to get rid of the FBI. They were never supposed to be a permanent fixture. Just another drain on the fucking taxpayer. But their job is to investigate stuff, especially when it concerns Uncle Creepy's son, fucking Cracky Hunter, and naked Skypes with his 14-year-old fucking niece. People are whack jobs, folks. Now, half of my fucking family tree comes from Sweden, and in Sweden, it's quite normal for the whole family to go into the sauna and be butt naked because nobody really gave a shit, because it's just nudity. The pearl clutching on the church lady, and when we were kids, you skinny dip. It was not a big fucking deal. Is what it is. Hunter and his 14-year-old niece being unclothed around each other. That's what I've heard. It's alleged. I haven't seen it. That's just too fucking creepy. All right, folks, that is 26:35, and we are done. Thank you for swinging by. I will do another one because there's a story on here that is just too good to be 10 minutes of me fucking laughing now. New folks, thanks for signing up. Old folks, thanks for sharing and torturing your friends. I will see you on the next one. Till then, happy Friday, my friends. Have a good weekend. It is definitely 5 o'clock somewhere. Scroll.